I would like to read, my name is Paul Pollack. I'm the chair. I would like to read
They said okay. All right.
statement. The Danvers Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, HRIC, is a cohesive task force against intolerance, bigotry, and oppression. HRIC partners with police, school administration, interfaith leaders, and several community partners on events and in discussions to create a positive atmosphere for an inclusive, multicultural community. We stand against hatred and support those who experience marginalization due to their age, gender, race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, citizen status, or socioeconomic status. Mr. Graham, would you please read the
Yes.
Native American statement?
In keeping with our values of equity and inclusion, and to support those who experience marginalization, this evening's meeting will begin with a Native American land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the ancestral homelands of the Nankig and Agawam peoples. Historical evidence shows that the Nankig and Agawam were peaceful in their relationship with European settlers. However, their population depleted rapidly due to smallpox and other pandemic old world diseases unknowingly introduced by earlier European colonizers to the East Coast. To honor the Nankig and Agawam communities, along with other indigenous peoples who inhabited these lands now known as Danvers, Massachusetts, and who may be lost to history, let us take a moment to recognize the past, the present, and future of indigenous peoples, and to reflect our roles within settler colonialism. We acknowledge these ancestral grounds we have collectively gathered upon and support the resilience and strength that indigenous peoples have still shown worldwide.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Just to step back a second, Johan, I just want to make sure I've got everything down. We have Karen, Donna, Jorge, Bill, Dave, yourself, and me as members, correct? So we have 7.
And Isaiah.
Isaiah. Well, hi, Isaiah.
He's waving.
Okay. So we have 8 then, right?
That is correct.
Excellent. All right, and we have Pastor Douglas and Lieutenant Sullivan.
Pastor Douglas is not present, but Lieutenant Sullivan is.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask if there are any citizen queries now. I doubt it because we're just lucky to be here right now on this. And I don't see anything popping up. If anybody sees anything, let me know and we'll move on. Lieutenant Sullivan is here, and I'd like to have him speak not on Pride, but just on any police business that he wants to keep us abreast of. Lieutenant Sullivan.
Nothing non-Pride related for me this month.
Okay, well, okay. Then we'll move on to Pride related. Okay, so I'm just going to mention that we've been meeting, and I'll let the Lieutenant Sullivan go into the details. At our last meeting, we voted to have a banner when originally the subcommittee was not going to try to do that due to expenses. Through a series of meetings and discussions, I'm working with Signorama now for a final draft on the banner, which I will get hopefully in a few days, and I'll forward it to Lieutenant Sullivan and Pastor Douglas for their approval. I'm just a link between the committee and Signorama. These guys are the experts on the banner. So they've directed me in a way that it should be an outstanding banner, a lot of color, and all the right information as to what's going on and what time and where. We did get approval from the select board to hang the banner. So we're very appreciative of the select board, and we will proceed. The banner should be up, I believe, the Monday of that June 7th week. I'm not sure what that date is actually. It might be the 2nd or something like that, but they're going to have it there on time. Lieutenant Sullivan, I'll turn it over to you for the remainder of the update.
Thanks, Paul. So right back to me. We've been meeting, the Pride Subcommittee's been meeting every other week. We have made a ton of great progress to put together another amazing event for us. I don't remember, I wasn't able to make the last HRIC meeting, so I just want to make sure that the dates were given to the whole committee. This year, the past few years, we've tried to do two things in one day, the party and town hall and the police station. It's getting to be too much to get all of that done in one day. So this year, the first Thursday of June, which is the 5th, there'll be a flag raising here at the police station. We're trying to add some additional things to it. There'll be some pride activities, pride art. We may be able to get one of the school vocal groups to perform, and have a couple of speakers, and I believe have pizza and stuff for the community. That's an event that's put together by the police station and our staff, so our subcommittee and HRIC folks don't have to do anything with the work for that, other than if you want to show up for a flag raising and have some pizza and enjoy an evening. It'll be at 5 p.m. here at the police station on the 5th. That's followed by the main event, which will be Saturday the 7th at 12 o'clock at Town Hall for a flag raising, and then 1 o'clock for the Pride Party on the lawn, the back lawn of the library at the pavilion. We are, I think we're still working on the exact details, but much like the select board meeting a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people spoke to congratulate Judge Mills on his retirement and thank him for all of his years of service. One of the things that we would like to try and do at the event is, it's not really a walk or a parade, but we do walk from the town hall to the library. The idea is to make, to see if David Mills would be willing to be like our grand marshal for that little walk. And Reverend Caro came up with a great idea about having music and maybe some bubbles and streamers and pinwheels and stuff, just to kind of jazz the walk up a little bit and make it something special for David, for all the support he's given to us over the years. And that would lead right into the Pride party. We have the same DJ that we had last year. It's the same company. The DJ that we had last year has been invited to be the DJ for Pride Miami and Pride San Juan. They were a little bit bigger than Danvers, so he could not turn that contract down for our contract. He does have DJs that work for him, so one of his colleagues will be here for us. We will have the same food truck that everybody was thrilled with last year, Butter Your Biscuits. They were great. They, husband and wife that run that company, are really supportive of Pride. And they ended up, we wanted to see if we could stretch our budget. Last year we had 75 tickets to give away for 75 free meals. We were hoping to stretch this year's budget to 100. I should probably start all this with saying I've walked in Jasmine's shoes for about a month and a half now, and they hurt. I don't know how she did it all, but it's been a learning, definitely a learning curve.
She has smaller feet.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
she did all of this behind the scenes for us last year. We were hoping to stretch it. Now I know how much we paid for the food truck last year. It's actually a lot of money. So we weren't able to increase the increase. We wanted to increase it to 100 free tickets. So they gave us the same price that we had last year. So obviously their costs have gone up. In the course of a year, they're not going to pass any of that cost on to us, and they're donating the 25 free meals to make it 100 meals to give out. We're still trying to work with, see if it can fit within our budgets. We had Kim's Pure pastries for last year. for the dessert portion of it, and we're looking to see if we can do the same thing for this year. We've also added, hopefully there'll be a few more shops and vendors that are attending. We went to the Danvers High School Prism Trans Day of Visibility, and then Paul and I went to the North Shore LGBTQ plus network Trans Day of Visibility, which was held in Salem. It was an amazing day. I think it was from, I don't know, noon till 4 or something. I had a lot to do, a couple of meetings scheduled. I was going to go for an hour. I stayed for the whole thing. I had met so many people and learned just a ton of information, got a lot of contacts, and spent the day. I talked to each of the vendors that were there to see what they were doing, how they're helping, and essentially if there's someone we could bring to Danvers. One of the things that we're trying to do this year is not just have a party, but make sure we have some additional resources for families that they might need. So like one of the things, we got them to commit, and I was psyched about it. Many people, so if you're looking for an LGBTQ plus friendly healthcare provider, many people think that's Fenway, and you've got to go, if you want healthcare in that type of a setting, you've got to go all the way to Boston. I met HealthQ at both of those events, and they are that type of practice, and they're the Cumming Center. So I didn't know if we were going to be big enough for them. I got the email the other day that they will, in fact, be at our event with the same tables they had at both Trans Day of Visibility. To get that information out to people. It's still, as we all know, it's still the matter of right patient, right practitioner, but maybe you could start here locally. Mass Behavioral Health and a private practice that offers counseling and family coaching and those types of things, they're going to be present. I'm reaching out to, I came across a financial advisor that works for a company locally, and she was the first lesbian member of her office, and she really advocates for being a financial advisor, building queer wealth, but also she advocates for reaching out to queer kids who want to have a future in finance and recruiting the next generation of people that work in that field. So I thought like something that would be a perfect fit, just to add more resources for what people like. Let's have a great time, party, free food, great DJ, flags and stickers and banners and all that. But let's have some additional information and resources available to people. So that's what we have covered so far. We're still working on it. We had a meeting last week. We're meeting back in 2 weeks. This date does happen to coincide with Danvers High School graduation. That day is apparently that day is it's fluid. It doesn't have, graduation doesn't happen the same. It's not always the first Saturday of June. We've had Pride the first Saturday the past few years. It's just how it ended up apparently this year. We talked about it at one of our original planning meetings, and we didn't want to lose any audience. We were afraid about pushing the dates up, that we're now competing with like North Shore Pride in Salem, and they get an enormous crowd, or the Tri-Town, or the Pride Picnic in Hamilton Wyndham. So we didn't want to be competing with other Pride organizations, and I don't believe there's any other daytime Pride programs going on our day. So that created, we also, I didn't mention, I forgot to mention, we also wanted to increase involvement with the schools. So we reached out to Danvers High School Prism to see if they wanted to have active participation in the event, as well as the Gay Straight Alliance at Essex Tech. And we they both responded back that they were very interested. The advisors just weren't sure what that would look like. And we said, we'd be happy to have any level of involvement in whatever that looks like. Does Prism want to come and put their artwork on display, or some of their books and poems that they've written on display? Or even if they weren't comfortable with that, we'd even take their suggestions. If they want to leave it at, we don't want to have a table, but this is what we would like to see you do for us at Pride. So if they just wanted to give us a list of requests for us to do for them, we would even accept that. So we're still working on putting that together, but where it's graduation, that may be a problem for Danvers High Prism and also the a cappella group that would usually sing with us. So Alex reached out to me the other day. They confirmed, but then they also realized it was graduation. So I'm thinking about seeing if they will come for the flag raising at the police station, so they can at least be part of one of the flag raisings. That'll give us some music here at the station. I haven't got to look to see where the text graduation falls yet, but we'll obviously have to take a look at the crowd we get this year and see if there's a noticeable impact in the number of attendees. Just food for thought for future years. That trying to find out as soon as possible when that graduation date is. But I think that's all I have. I'm sure I'm forgetting like 10 things. I don't know. Jasmine and Shilpa always had these things like so organized and never missed a beat and had every little detail. I'm a bit more of a hot mess.
And the one thing I think we did get some support from Cherry Street Fish Market, and we do have some support from financial support from them, and also the UU Church and the Maple Street Church. And I did talk with a representative from Northeast Community Bank this week and gave him a proposal. So there's a possibility that we might be able to raise some more funds. Let's see. I will be speaking to Sally Kearns regarding honoring Dave Mills. And I believe when we talked at our last meeting, Lieutenant, we said that if possible, this would be something that would be developed from the legislature, but not through the representatives. It'd be through the Senate this time with Joan Love, because Sally did that at the recent select board meeting and honoring Dave. And that's about it right now. We're closing in, and it's getting close. I don't want to take too much of your time because we're so late. Charles is Charles here yet?
Dr. Charlie is not here. However, Luis has joined us.
Who has joined us?
Luis.
Oh, Luis. Okay.
Hi, Alan. I'm in a meeting. What's up?
That's David with his phone. All right.
Dave, are you able to mute yourself?
Brian King, no.
Yeah, he muted. Okay. Well, that interrupted my train of thought. So you know the way my train of thought is. I'm just gonna, if Charles doesn't get it, Charles and Sarah O'Brien, they're working on a program for the education department that is going to sort of consolidate what we were doing with the scholarship committee, and they're close, but they're not ready to present yet. And that's going to take place if Charles gets here before we get off. He'll explain it, but it looks good. It looks like it's going to encompass more folks than just graduating seniors in the high school. It could go anywhere from community members, other institutions within the town, but everything is going to stay within the town of Danvers. And I'll let him elaborate on that, if not now, at our next meeting, okay? Juneteenth, I know Johan was a little concerned about where we were with Juneteenth. So we've exchanged, while she was on vacation, she gave up a lot of her time contacting me. Smile, Johan, everything worked out well. We have had, I haven't had any real conversations, but the Juneteenth Association out of Lynn, who is, it's Nicole McLean that runs that. And they've been in contact with us through Jen Breaker. We have set a date of June 17th, which I believe is a Tuesday. And that would be at 2 p.m. in front of Town Hall. And again, this was something that Jasmine did, and everything was run through the Juneteenth Association. They pretty much run it and tell us really where to be and what to do. I will be in contact with her, and I think you've tried to contact her too, Johan, so I don't know, have you had any luck talking with her?
So she responded on the thread that we're both on,
Yeah,
just saying that she's been in contact with Jen Breaker and the three things that are on the agenda. My question was more pertaining to our role in it, as my question was essentially if Jasmine was the go-between for us and she's no longer here, if
mhm,
somebody from our committee, I assumed possibly you, if you had been in contact with Jen, had, that go-between information, but it
right,
seemed as if there wasn't any go-between information, so that's where I just wanted to recommend that we do maintain
okay.
that
Would
that
you mind,
role.
yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry, excuse me, please continue.
Yeah, because I don't, for example, I don't know if there's a program that's being organized by anybody. I know that
Right,
I know what Juneteenth is doing,
right,
but I also know what was done last year
yes,
in addition to that. So, well, I know some of it. So, in any case, I know you mentioned that when you go back to town hall, you might stop in to try to seek some of that information. So I just want to make sure that we are in the loop. Obviously, our HRIC, we represent these things for the town, so we don't want to be
right,
completely out of the loop and be caught off guard by something, and then have it be reflected on us, right?
yes,
So where I think it's great to have the help, we still want to be
mhm,
sure that we're at the beginning, middle, and end of that help so that we are in the loop.
okay. Let me ask you this. I would prefer to keep being in the loop with the committee here instead of Jen Breaker, to be honest with you. She's got enough on her plate. We can handle it. I'd like to handle it. I can't be Jasmine. Um, Anyone that worked with Jasmine that knows something about this event, I'd appreciate their involvement to some extent, just so that we don't miss anything. I don't want to be at the event at 5 minutes or two and then find out I have to do this, or we have to do this, or we should have had this done. And we're sort of standing around not knowing what's going on. So I'm going to contact Nicole, and Johan, would you maintain the contact with me, or feel free to contact Nicole, so that between the two of us, we make sure that every T is crossed and I is dotted. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I did initiate the email with Nicole, which I have you on, and she responded, but obviously very high level, most likely because some of that information was already communicated to Jen Breaker. So
Mhm.
I believe the next step would be for, you to kind of speak with Jen to try to obtain
Okay,
that information.
right,
Since it's already booked, we're
right,
just trying to maintain the liaison status, so to speak,
yeah,
on the
okay.
event.
All right, I'm making a note right now to get in touch, like I said the other day, I haven't done it, but I get in touch with Jen, any updates, what's going on, and then we'll stay right on top of it, okay? Because
But
we've got,
also,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
and then also I had a few just more probing type questions because, I don't want it to come back like the answer is no, and then we still don't know, is there a program, are we making comments in the program? If
Right,
there's no program, should there be, that sort of thing. So I will, whenever you are going there, we can discuss those questions again,
all
just to
right.
make sure we have our hand in it. Karen, go ahead.
So I have not been able to attend in past years just because it conflicts with the work of my organization. But for some reason, I have an idea that there has been in the past a trifold brochure type of document that Jasmine had designed, which might be in the drive of documents that Jasmine put together last summer. And that might give a clue as to some of the content of this in past years. So if that would be helpful at all, somebody, I mean, we could dig in there.
You could, your message is very helpful to me, Karen. So you can make it for the attention.
You've become very staticky, so we didn't really get that, what you just said.
Johan, can you hear me? Johan,
Yes, I hear you.
did you catch Karen's message?
Karen was, hold on one second. Good night. Karen was just saying that Jasmine had sent a drive over with documentation from prior years, and if we can access that drive, we should be
Okay.
able to access the trifold with the information from the prior year. I do remember the trifold, but yes, I don't have a copy of it, so we'll have to
This
search
was
for those
one from
emails.
a couple of years ago.
Nick Huff might have that. I'll check with Nick. They seem to be able to access Jasmine's some of her stuff that she hadn't left. So I'm gonna try that. So you're talking about, what am I actually asking him for?
It sounds like a pamphlet from the prior
Oh,
Juneteenth.
pamphlet, okay.
Like a
This was the
trifold.
one from a couple of years ago. It was a trifold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I
All right.
remember that one.
Yeah. Okay, which also mean, adding on to what Karen was saying, we do want to develop somehow by May 6th, a pamphlet, flyer, anything that we might want to put up, for this event in town, and also on DCAT, and also have the town advertise it. And, I don't have anything. Wait a minute, I may have one old one. And I can run it by some of you folks, and maybe we can get it updated for the Juneteenth. And I know that Lieutenant Sullivan's also working on the same type of pamphlet / poster for Pride, and we've looked at them. We're going into our 12th year now with Pride flag raising, by the way. So that's where it's at. I can check with Nick about the pamphlet. Is there anything else, Karen, on that you wanted to mention? No?
No, that's it. I know very little. That was just a hunch, but that was amazing that Bill could produce
Well,
it.
yeah. Well, I got you loud and clear now. Okay, great. Everything else was no way. Okay. Did I miss anything? Is there anything, I'm just putting down a to-do list right now. That's get in touch with Jen about Nick regarding the pamphlet. Anything else that anyone has to say about Juneteenth that I should be aware of? Karen,
I'm just going to underscore what Johan was saying is that that we're really, I think it's beyond hoping. Like Paul, you're saying like you're wanting to be the one to have engagement. That's great. But just so that we're not sort of, just so it's like, we know now the content for that day and can also be shaping the content for that day as necessary.
no, I don't really, Karen, I'm telling you the truth. I don't really want to be, I'm not being, I volunteer to do it, but I would certainly appreciate any help or someone taking the lead, believe me. Because I'm working with Pride now, and I'm not working like you folks, but I still have my hands full a little bit, so I don't, I really, I'm willing to have anybody help me and give me ideas, because I just don't want to go into that, because I know that was the first event. It was the second event when I took over as interim, because Dee had just left because the election took place in early May, and the next events were in June, and they were both Pride and Juneteenth. So that was my first experience with Jasmine or anything to do with either of those events. So I'm open to any help, any direction, anything we have to do to follow up. And I will get in touch with Jen right away, and I'll get in touch with Nick Huff on any kind of stuff. And I rely on either you or Johan. Please just keep me going, or take it upon yourself to, if you have to make some decisions, make a decision, come run it by me if you think it's that important, or just continue on. Okay, anything else on Juneteenth? Anyone?
Well, the brochure I've got 22 and 23. I don't know about last year, but they had emancipation.
Yeah, I remember that now too. I don't know if I have a copy of that.
Emancipation Proclamation was on the inside, And on the outside was a trifold, was what it is in the program.
Okay. Does anybody else have a copy of that?
No.
If you can get it, to me, Bill, at some point, either way, I
Okay.
don't care. I'd appreciate it. Let's see, well, Charles isn't in yet, so I guess he's not ready, so, we've
He's-
talked about,
He's here.
oh,
He's
he is.
just second screen. He's arrived now.
Can we get him in the conversation? Charles? Hello?
How's that?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go.
Now we can.
All right. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. You guys are using Teams. I never use Teams. I'm a Zoom guy, and my system is not constructed to deal with Teams. But anyway, I did finally get it, and unfortunately, I was later than I would normally be because I've been for the last 15 minutes figuring out how to do this, but I finally did. Okay. See everybody. You all look
That sounds like most of us, Charles.
You look marvelous. How's that, right?
I'm on, Charles, but they can't see me, so that's good.
Oh, so you're as bad as I am.
Why don't you update us a little on the program that you're working with Sarah on for the
Yeah.
scholarship?
Is Sarah on with me right now?
No, she's not, she wasn't able to make it.
Oh, okay. So, first of all, please accept my deepest apology. I was in Boston at meetings today and I was behind, and I sent Paul a note saying I'm a little bit late, but then I'm even later. It's 7:51 because I've been 15 minutes trying to figure out how to get on board, but I finally did it. But anyway, okay, so as everyone knows, we had this discussion regarding whether or not the scholarship that we do with HRIC, which goes to one or two students, fully represented the impact that we'd like to have on the broader community with regards to what HRIC is doing and how it interfaces with our engagement with the broader community. And so Sarah and I got together and had some conversations about this, and we sort of noodled together, and Sarah really pulled a document together, which I think is fantastic, which basically says what we're trying to do is to democratize the work of the HRIC. And what I'd like to suggest is we're going to send to you all before our June meeting.
May meeting.
Excuse me, before our May meeting, a specific proposal that will talk to you about what it is that we've envisioned that we'd like to go forward. And without forecasting what's going to happen, what we're essentially looking at is a opportunity for anyone in the community to come forward with a concept, a paper, or an engagement effort, an engagement activity that advances the work of the HRIC, which we would then fund so that they could then enact that activity in the community. And so the purpose of that would be is to say, how do we hear and listen to the different voices within the community that believe they have something to say that contributes to the work that we're doing? Are there things that we're missing? Are there things that we're not hearing? Are there things that we're not seeing? That if given an opportunity to give a platform for that through HRIC, would enable us for that to happen. So what we'd like to do is to put forward the proposal that we've drafted. Paul and I have looked at it. Obviously, Sarah is looking at, she's the principal author. And what we'd like to do is to bring that to everyone at our May meeting in writing so that you could see it. You could look it over, and if there are any ideas, contributions, edits, ideas that you'd like to contribute, we'll incorporate those based on what we hear in May, and then we'll come back at the June meetings, before the June meeting, we'll send out a version of what we have that's the synthesis of everyone who's contributed to our thinking about this, and then we'll vote on something in June that will then enable us to start looking at funding an effort starting in September, where different voices that may be tonight, for example, listening and hearing what we're talking about and saying, I really have something that I'd like to contribute to the work of this wonderful organization and these fantastic people. And we'll then review various proposals that may be submitted, and then we'll be looking at providing some funding and support, just as we fund and support the work that we're doing for something that would originate in the broader community in Danvers that speaks to the many voices that we have involved in the work that we're doing in the HRIC. So that's the concept, that's the general schedule, and we're hoping that folks will feel that this is a way for us to say we respect, we honor, we welcome, we embrace, we are concerned with, and we support everything that people in the community have to say about what we can do to become, as Martin Luther King and John Lewis and many other people said, is what are the things that we can say to speak to the beloved community? What does it mean for us all together to embrace each other in the spirit of our shared humanity? And the way that we can do that most effectively is invite everybody to join the conversation with us. And so that's the idea of what we've been working on. I have to say that Sarah has done a lot of work on this. I've certainly collaborated with her, but she really has provided tremendous leadership and thought to this effort. So that's where we are right now. We have a schedule, we'll roll it out, and we'll let this group, duly elected and appointed by our select board for our wisdom and our judgment to be able to assess all of this. And hopefully we'll, at the end of all of this, we'll be able to say to the broader community, everyone in the community, welcome to the table. What do you have to share? We're all going to eat from this table together. So that's where we are. That's what we're getting ready to do, and that's the schedule.
Dr. Charlie, is this like a social action Shark Tank?
Well, for some people it might be that.
Okay.
For some people it might be they want to share part of their heart with us. They have something to say about their particular perspective on what it means to be in this community, what it means to be an American, what it means to be wherever they've come from or whatever their background is, but they would like to take a moment for us to share that with everyone so that we can all hear their voices. And the issue is hearing all the voices. I mean, hearing the voices of our broad community and to see the commonality in the messages that we share with each other. I think that's why we sort of we initially, as everyone knows, for years and years we did this through the context of the scholarship program in the Danvers Public Schools, and it really spilled over into into our esteemed private institution. I'm blocking on it. They'll kill me. My son's a graduate of it, but up the street, and everyone came together, and students had a lot to say. But now we're saying, I mean, I'm old enough now to say that I've learned an awful lot with all the years that I've lived, and I think that there's a lot of people in our community that have learned a lot from the years that they lived, and they have something to share with us, and we should find a space for them to do that. That's pretty much on the elder side, but I think there's a lot of younger people as well who've said, I've seen the world that's unfolding today, and this is my perspective on it. This is what I have to say, and I think it's incumbent upon us to listen to and to hear those messages and those voices. So it could be a Shark Tank because it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty and nice and pleasant. It could be some hard-hitting realities, that we need to hear. And we're able to deal with that. We're mature enough to deal with that. And sometimes that's what you have to hear.
Thank you very much, Charles. Does anyone have anything to add to what Charles just said? Please speak up if you feel like you want to.
Do I dare? We have the potential of hearing some pretty unsavory comments from some members of our community. I suppose that's a chance we have to take, but maybe at least we can get them to the table.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right, Dave. I'm so glad that you said that. You know, if I can, I don't want to go on at length here, but I mean, I'm going to basically say a little bit about my own perspective on the world. So what happens when you say, we another vision for where we should go in a post-liberal democracy? Something else we have to say about there's something better, there's something that we should reach for, there's something that we should understand that's different than our quote unquote post-liberal democracy. And I'd have to say, I kind of fit in the box of the people who embrace the liberal democracy. But there may be people who have to say that the liberal democracy isn't what we ought to be thinking about right now. There's something other that we should think about. I think that we need to hear that because, you know, we hear a lot about, because since World War II, we've been hearing a very similar voice about this. And, you know, if there's more that has to be said, I think we should listen and hear it. And this is the platform in this community where we'll present the space to hear what folks have to say if they want to say something about another path forward that we, as Americans, all of us, need to consider and to think about. I feel that that's part of what being a member of this committee requires us to do, to hear those voices and to present a place where folks can come forward and present what it is that they think that we're not hearing that we should hear.
Thank you, Dr. Charlie. Paul, I just wanted to, I don't want to rush anyone, but I do have another meeting to hop to. I just wanted to check to see if you had anything else on the
No,
agenda.
only
Just
thing-
okay.
No, I'm through. New business, the only thing I had new business, I believe, and everybody can check with you, I think I know where I'm going here. Election day is Tuesday, is that correct? Town election Tuesday. Very, very important election. We've got select board, we've got the library and the school committee. And, I can't believe that I firmly believe that the select board election is huge in this town this year. So I encourage everyone to get out and vote. And if you know anybody, ask them to vote too. With that, unless there's something pressing, I will thank you very, very much for your patience. Go ahead, Dave.
If I can add on to what you just said, I think everybody should think very seriously about the fact that should the face of the board change significantly, this committee could be disbanded by them.
Possibility, anything could
And
happen.
based on what we saw at their last meeting, and some of the voices I'm hearing coming from the other side of the table, if you want to call it that, I think we need to make sure we vote and get our friends out to vote and make sure we keep Danvers being a place where everybody is welcome.
Agreed. Thank you. Any other further comments?
Sorry, Karen has her hand raised. Oh, go ahead, Karen.
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna, in the same vein as Election Day, I was just gonna remind everybody that the next town meeting is on May 19th. So just to have that on your calendar, if you're in that practice or setting a new habit of attending that. And then I just want to say that Lieutenant Rob and I connected today, and we're going to re-up the circulation of the MLK banner, so that we are reminding the community that we do move like king. And so I'll be in touch with the organizations outside of the school system, some of whom hosted it, some of who wanted to host it last year. And we'll get that back up and going. So he and his team will kindly make that possible. And I'll do the early stage admin on that.
Okay, the last thing I have to say too is our next meeting, and it should not be on Zoom, will be May 15th. Okay, at the Toomey Room, unless something happens. But anyway, have a great night, everyone. I will, first of all, I guess I have to do this. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
aye.
Aye.
Johan's probably an
Oh,
aye.
sorry. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I want to say,
Isaiah's probably an aye. I think we have enough to adjourn. Okay, thanks, guys. Good night. And have a
Adios, amigos.
wonderful week. See you on Tuesday.